Hello, my gorgeous Virgo loves, and welcome to April 2021 and this vibrant, powerful season that we are in. When I think about April, for whatever reason, these ultra concentrated colors come to mind. Vibrant oranges and reds and purples and just the full explosion of color is just a really strong image that keeps coming to mind every time I feel through April's energy. And a lot of April is, of course, Aries season, which is a season for Virgos that is full of transformation, especially if you're a Virgo rising. And even if you're a sun or a moon, Aries season relates to you as an 8th house energy, which means that it's all about transformation and changing your shape. And then when we move into Taurus season on the 19th and the sun moves over there, we start to get into really expansive, big vision energy. So for me, this is huge energy for Virgos. We have Mercury, Venus, and Sun moving quite close together right now. And so they'll move through Aries and then they'll move right into Taurus. And we also have a new moon in Aries early on in the month on the 11th. And we have a full moon in Scorpio on the 26th. So these are really strong moons. They're both very intensive moons and very honest and very crystal clear and very passionate moons. And here's the thing with all this energy, this big picture energy, this big review of who you are now. The thing is that the message that came through for Virgos right away when I sat down with you was don't worry so much. Don't worry so much. Practice noticing when you're getting in worry mode, and then practice letting yourself let it go. Practice asking yourself, is this serving me? Do I actually know that? And then let it go. And then trust your transmutation. Trust that it's okay that you have changed. I want to start shuffling my cards, but I was thinking about this. Sometimes we get to that tipping point, that natural place where we realize we've changed shape. It kind of happens gradually over time. And we don't always notice it right up front. And then there's that point, there's that tipping point, that critical mass where suddenly we know we've changed. We know we don't fit into the same box anymore. We know we don't fit into the same relationships, the same town, the same identity, that we don't relate to the world in the same way, that we don't relate to our work in the same way, whatever it may be that has changed. It's like, ooh, card came out. King of Pentacles. Love it. Love it. We just know we're not the same. We know we've changed shape. And this happens, time and time again in life. It's not just a one-off deal. And how sometimes when we realize that's happened, right, that we have changed, that we can't fit in the container anymore, that once was very comfortable and really beautiful and served us well and we were grateful for, doesn't fit us anymore. And then what we do is obviously we can sometimes grieve those containers, those identities, those ways of relating. The moon, very powerful. And that's natural. I think that's so natural and important. But we also start to want to rank the past and the present and the future. And we'll say, well, the past was better because I had this person in my life, or because I had stability in this specific area of my life, or because I knew what I was doing then. And it's stressful that I don't know what I'm doing now. So I feel like this is a demotion and it was better in the past. Or maybe we'll do something different. We'll say, oh, I'm so much better now, but the past was really bad. The Hermit, Virgo showing up in their own reading. But that's useless, right? To compare and to maybe feel frustrated that we can't hold on to the way things were or the way that we were, or that we can't keep our same shape. In grief, we can sometimes get really stressed out about our grief. We can get really worried about our own grieving cycle and our own change. And the Devil. Okay, we got some very introspective cards going on here, Virgo. To me, that speaks to a really strong vibrancy in your soul journey and how you're transforming and what you're exploring and what is coming up for you. Often when we get these cards, people will say to me, oh, is it just going to be another month of waiting around inside by myself, not really doing anything for me? That's far from how it goes. The more I see introspective cards, the more I realize we're getting honest with ourselves about something important. And that means we're probably more likely to make appropriate shifts in our life and to see really strong, powerful, kind of kismet kind of things happening, serendipitous things happening that are helping us move forward. So the more that we're willing to listen to our souls, the more we're willing to release the worry, release our worry about our grief, release our worry about our transformation, release our worry about what the future might hold if we let ourselves transform and we hear ourselves and we do the introspection, the more likely we are to actually be taking really potent action in the physical world. So I actually really love seeing introspective cards, because this is where we need more time, more rest, more connection to this. It's always a good thing, as long as we're not getting into worry mode and analyzing mode, because that's not really introspection or listening to our soul. That's the conditioned worry, the conditioned fear, right? So let's talk about this. Right away, we get King of Pentacles, which is a really solid root building energy, which I love. And King of Pentacles is about the long game. He's about building something that lasts. So he's not about quick results, but he's very steady and consistent. Now, you may find this energy around you this month, but this is also to do with what you want to build next and planting those seeds. And the only way you're going to plant seeds that really reflect your soul is if you get really honest about the seeds you actually want to plant, and not just planting the seeds that you think you should plant or that you've planted before. And in the past, planting those seeds was really good for you, but now you feel really burnt out and tired of it, and you have no variance, and you're starting to feel really stuck. Whatever the reason, you want to make sure the seeds you're planting, the energy that you are investing, and it doesn't have to literally be money. It can be anything that you're investing your energy in. Make sure you're getting really honest and only investing in what is working for you. And the way you're going to know how to do that is right here in the Moon and the Hermit, two of my favorite wisdom cards you could ever work with. Wow. These cards represent to me deep soul listening. One in the inner mother, in the intuitive realm, in the watery, mystic hidden, and the other in the elder wisdom. The wisdom of the voice deep within us that is very old, very slow, not very interested in the high-paced, youth-obsessed culture at all. This guy is not interested in commercials. This guy is not into service appearances. Hermit energy, I mean, it's the card that's connected to Virgo, right, is all about wholeness from a deep place of knowing. So both of these cards are speaking to you. You got to trust yourself more. These are not voices of worry, of agitation, of like worrying that people are going to think you're not trying hard enough, or worrying that you're not offering up enough to the world, or worrying that you're not keeping up appearances of who you think you need to be. Wipe that all off the table. I think this would be a really interesting exercise to do this month. Like after we get done with this talk, or whenever you're feeling inspired, just sit down and immediately, what comes to mind to you? Write it down immediately without thinking it. What you know has changed, what you know you don't want to keep doing anymore, what you know you want to start doing differently. And we're not just talking about like, oh, I want to like New Year's resolutions type thing where it's like, I want to work out every day. I mean, that's fine if you want to do that, but it's like, it's the things that we keep doing that we know don't serve us. You know, like we know that we're really tired of, like, for example, this is actually a good example, just like taking that same exercise class. Like we don't actually like the movements. We don't actually like the context, and we're forcing ourselves to do it. We're forcing ourselves over and over to do that. Do you really want to do that class anymore? No, I hate it. Okay, right? Like that's a smaller example. It could also be big stuff. Like you're tired of feeling bad that you want to move. You're ready to move. Okay, you know, you're tired of feeling bad that you want to shift careers and that you just want to shift the career. You know, whatever that message is that you know has shifted inside of you in this transformational year, let yourself have it. Let yourself write it out, because that's the soul knowing, right? It's always so clear and crystal and simple, our soul. It's never giving us all these complex stories about why we can't do it, why we should be embarrassed, why we should be worried, why we need to survive, right? It gives us all these really like complicated novella storylines. And our soul is just like, is this nourishing you? Because here's something over here I'm nudging at you that's nourishing you. That's all I gotta say. And so there's a simplicity going on here. And here's the other message that's coming through. This is about to it's giving me goosebumps. The devil showed up. And this isn't in itself like some dark, terrible harbinger of doom. The devil does, though. Whenever I see the devil, it has to do with like work ethic, right? And consistency and showing up and building on our roots. And I think the difference between the King of Pentacles and the devil is really obvious. Like the King of Pentacles plants roots, does some hard work, shows up to things that are maybe vulnerable or a little bit challenging, and then flourishes above ground and enjoys the beauty of flowering and becoming and living in peace and serenity and relaxing into it. And the devil is when we do a lot of hard work and then we just keep doing more hard work and we stay chained up to that cycle over and over again. We get obsessed with maintaining. We get obsessed with getting on that wheel and turning and turning and turning. Anything that feels like the devil, where you are chained to it, even if on paper it looks really good, it makes sense, it's positive, it's done really good things for you in the past, it doesn't even have to be something inherently negative or dark. It could be like a job. I remember I had a job a handful of years ago that at the time that I got it, it was an amazing job. I was doing library science, so I got to play with books and I had amazing coworkers, and it gave me stability in a time in my life when I was going through one of the worst breakups of my life and all of this. It was such an amazing job and I loved it, and everything about it was so supportive of me. Everything. And I outgrew it. I just had to move on, and I felt really bad that I couldn't make myself keep showing up to that job because it had given me so much, because it had been so supportive of me. And on paper I would say over and over again, like, this is everything I need. Why do I need to outgrow this, right? But if in forcing myself to stay there, I was starting to get myself into this non-soul listening mode that was really painful. So it doesn't always have to be destructive stuff inherently, but it's destructive to you when you've changed shape, you no longer fit it, and it's time for change, it's time for shift, it's time for growth. And this month, when I see these cards, what I'm seeing is a really honest conversation about what that looks like for you. And honestly, that's exciting. I love that. For me, this is the most liberating energy that there is. This is like where the great questions are asked. This is where the great shifts happen. They don't happen in the sunshine frolicking. Like, that's great. Believe me, I'm all about some frolicking in the sunshine and having fun and relaxing and enjoying like the beauty of life and the pleasures of life. That's so great. Those aren't where we get the shifts though. The shifts happen when we're just willing to be with our soul, be with our transmutation, and embrace that we have changed shape, and that is everything that's happening here. And we really want Virgos to take their energy and plant seeds that make them feel whole, that allow them to enjoy the pleasures of life, that allow you all to relax, not the ones that keep you grinding underground for years on end, feeling like you're betraying yourself. So anything that's feeling like betrayal, self-betrayal, is allowed to be questioned at this time. And I just want to give you that permission right now. And if you are in scenarios that are getting your nervous system worked up, that is getting your worry mind worked up, that is getting your mind going in 100 directions, but not in a good way, look at that. Really, take a minute and look at what is this thing? What is this scenario? What is this identity that I think I need to be carrying around with me? Is it working for you? Does it feel good? Because if it doesn't, it's got to go. And it will go, and it may not happen this April, right? But you can initiate. You can initiate those conversations with yourself, with your journey, and you can open to what is next. So I'm really excited. And, I have a Virgo moon, as many of you know, so I will be riding this train right along with you. And I can tell you right now, when I see these cards, it makes so much sense. I've been going through like so much personal growth and transformation, and I can see how like I can't go back. And so I can see how April is just a time of embracing the seeds I want to sow, embracing the becoming that is happening in me. And the less I fight that, the more I feel relaxed and excited. And when I fight it, when I feel bad that I've changed shape, when I feel bad that I can't hold myself where I was, even if it was a really good thing, that's what's painful. It's not the actual changing, it's the like holding on, and it's the getting worried, and it's the getting nervous, and it's the letting my imagination take me to places that make me feel fractured and not whole. And if Virgo is one thing, I think about wholeness in oneself, right? Feeling totally whole in oneself. This is why Virgos can entertain themselves forever, and they don't need other people to be around them, distracting them. Virgos can entertain themselves forever, and that's a great thing. But my point being is that wholeness in self, we don't want to feel fractured. Sometimes this world expects us to be fractured into a whole bunch of tiny slivers and pieces of ourselves and try to fit into a whole bunch of different categories and identities. And I'm finding more and more that that's just not where the value is. So let yourself be wholly who you are, transformed and all. That's all I gotta say. And I just hope this April is full of love and support and loving people, loving relationships, loving connections, and really great, beautiful, crystalline doors that open for you and let you walk through them into that, and that you feel really empowered in your transformation and how you've grown and changed. I think that's such a valuable gift. You can, of course, find me on Patreon. I would love to see you over there. We are doing a whole bunch of extra activations. We have every week an astrology discussion on Mondays that are very soothing and help you work with the week. We do activations for all the moons. I'm going to be going over all these outer planet retrogrades that are coming up in the coming months. So we're going to be doing a lot of extra good, amazing things over there. I'd love to see you. And you can also find me on my Instagram and my website. So I'll leave all of those links in the description box. And of course, you can find PinkLune's gorgeous jewelry on her Etsy shop. I will see you all very soon. And I'd love to see you. If you want to stick around, like, subscribe, comment, tell me how your April is going, beautiful Virgos. And I'll talk to you in May.